Hey guys, it's me, Political Paula. I'm back. And look, I came back for a lot of reasons. First of all, I can't be more thankful for the reception I got and the overwhelming messages of support from people that I didn't even know watched my show when I said that I was suspending the show. And yeah, some of you are going to go like, oh yeah, she took a couple days off. Well, no, I really thought I was going to be off for a long time. But then what I realized was that I still have a lot to talk about. And I have a lot that I want to share with all of you. And I also have a lot that I can learn from all of you. And I'm just not ready to curl up in a ball and hang it up just because at 6:45 p.m. on January 1st, my life as I knew it ended. It was turned upside down. And I'm not going to go into details about that right now. In the future, I certainly will. But the bottom line is, it was probably a lesson I needed to learn. And whatever happens, and I'm sure everything's going to work out just fine, but whatever happens, what I will never be able to do is go back to December 31st, 2017 and live that life again. Because it was wrong. It was stupid. It was naive. Again, what is happening right now in my life is not my fault. It is not my husband's fault. It is not our precious little dog Savannah's fault. We didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that we are guilty of is being naive and getting too comfortable in a situation that was not permanent to begin with. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that for now. There have been things that happened because it seems like every day there's a new disaster coming, which has made me think about a movie that affected me very deeply. And the movie is Blade Runner. Now, not the Blade Runner that just came out last year. I'm talking old school Blade Runner. And if you haven't seen it, please see it. See the original with Rutger Hauer, Joanna Cassidy, Harrison Ford. See the original. And so I started thinking about Blade Runner when I'm realizing that, 2 days after my world turned upside down, my refrigerator broke. We got a new refrigerator. That refrigerator was a piece of shit that somebody sold us and tried to pass off as a brand new refrigerator. It doesn't work. What happens is it defrosts the freezer food and it freezes the refrigerator food. It's ridiculous. And they tried to tell us we were using it wrong. Like, well, you're not supposed to put it on high. Well, then why is there a high button? And when it's on high, that's the only time the freezer works. So I've written about that on Facebook, and you can read more about our refrigerator nightmare. But here's the thing. This is what I'm going to talk to you about today, and I am going to have some more shows because some shows have just fallen in my lap. The day I said I was going to suspend the show, all of a sudden I got all these great show ideas. One came in the mail the other day, which is going to, my anti-smoking guys, you're going to love this one. So that one's coming. But I wanted to talk today about Blade Runner. And not just because I am sort of in love with Rutger Hauer, because I am. I think he's so hot. Even now, at 73 years old, he is hot. But because it is some of the best acting, and the fact that Rutger wrote the last lines in the movie himself. And those lines, they permeate today. Now, if you haven't seen Blade Runner, here's the thing. Replicants. These were robots, basically, that were built, but they had human tendencies. And they were built with so much life. And after a certain amount of time, they died. And some of them, including Rutger's character, Batty, he wanted more life. He didn't want to just go quietly into that good night. He wanted more life. And I'm going to quote from, first of all, from Rutger's book and from the movie. But when you think about your life right now. Some of you are out there and you're dealing with health issues. You're dealing with chronic or terminal illnesses. And you all seem to say, I want more life. But my question with everything that's going on in my own life this week is, what kind of life do we want more of? And do we actually know what we're asking for when we say we want more life? So here's some quotes. Here's a quote from Blade Runner directly, and it's amazing because it's very real right now, especially in my situation. First of all, Batty says to Decker, Rutger Hauer says to Harrison Ford, as he is deciding whether he's going to save Harrison Ford's life or not, quite an experience to live in fear. That's what it is to be a slave. Interesting, right? How many of you live in fear every day? Fear that you're going to lose your home because your landlord, like my friend Joe Benduin is going through, your landlord decides to evict you. How many of you live in fear every day that you're going to lose your job or that your health insurance company is going to cancel your plan and triple charge you to get another plan? Living in fear is what it is like to be a slave. How many of you out there right now are slaves? Slaves to your employer, slaves to your health insurance company. Think about it. Think about it. It's a good one. And of course, the best quote from the movie. Bear with me. It's a tearjerker. I have seen things you people cannot believe. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. And that's true. You know, we all go on fancy vacations and we have these memories in our heads. And we think that if we spend $500 going out for a big meal and take a picture of it and put it on Facebook, it's going to last forever. But it's not. It's not. All of that's going to be lost, like tears in the rain. The replicants in Blade Runner wanted more life. They knew their time was waning. And I'm going to ask all of you right now who want more life. What kind of life do you want? And I'm not making this political by talking about Trump and all this stuff, but our country right now is in grave danger of becoming involved in a nuclear war. Do you want more life if it means you're going to have to live in a world where a nuclear bomb is dropped and live with the aftermath of a nuclear war? Do you want that life? Watch The Day After. Again, an old movie from the 80s. Do you want to live that life? Do you want more life the day after a nuclear bomb hits the United States? Do you want a life, one more week, one more year, one more month of life, that you're going to be suffering from extreme pain or side effects from pharmaceutical drugs, chemotherapy, radiation, where you won't know where your keys are or know your own name or be able to be with your loved ones because your immune system has been destroyed? Is that the I want more life kind of thing you want? If you are faced with one more year of life where you're going to lose everything you've worked for through no fault of your own, is that the kind of year of life you want? We all fight to live. But what are we fighting to live for, is my question. And I think it's a smart question. I think some of us want to live in order to maintain what we think we are going to have for the rest of our lives. And I think most of us understand that everything we have right now can be lost in a New York minute. I know that I realized that on January 1st, 2018. We say it's going to be okay, but we can't guarantee it. And so when people say, I'm going to fight for my life, I think maybe you should be a little bit more specific, especially if you're counting on your God to make everything all better for you, which, believe me, I'm not. I know better. And I know my friend, the singing chaplain's going to be mad at me for saying that, but believe me, God ain't putting no money tree in my backyard. And he's not going to save my food from defrosting in the refrigerator that's not working, that was only 2 days old. We got to take care of it. We got to put on our big boy pants and go out and fix it, which my husband spent the whole morning doing. He wasted an entire morning looking for a new refrigerator to replace the new refrigerator. And I'm running around to my neighbors going, do you have room in your freezer? Because I can't afford to lose this food. And thankfully, my neighbors did step up. Thank you, Jim. You've got a lot of fish in your freezer. Make sure your freezer doesn't bust up now. It's funny, I just heard sirens coming down the street. And I said, oh my God, we just put our family curse that we've gotten in 2018 onto Jim. I was afraid that Jim's house burned down because Luciano food was in his freezer. No, that's how I feel right now. I feel like right now that for some reason our family is cursed, that every day something else is going wrong. And it is frustrating. It's hard to live with. And look, I love life. I have books that I haven't read that I can't wait to read. I don't have a lot of movies to watch because the movies right now, they're very depressing. They're boring. They're so predictable. I don't do movies anymore, but I have things I want to do. But I don't want more life if the more life I'm going to get is going to be this kind of life, what I've lived the last week. Unable to sleep, having no appetite, unable to eat, or craving really fattening foods, which is ridiculous because I'm not going to end up getting fat. But for some reason, all I want right now is a big-ass bowl of fettuccine Alfredo, and I have all the ingredients in my kitchen, and I'm a chef, and I can make it. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to gain 500 pounds because bad things are happening in my life. You know, I think the bottom line is when you say I want more life, I think what we want and we hope for is a better life. And that we want to experience new things. I mean, I certainly would love to see what's going to be happening in 25, 30, 40, 50, 100 years if I could. But in order to do that, I mean, I need to have a roof over my head and clothes on my back and food in my refrigerator that hopefully works. So when you say you want more life, make sure you're specific. And there's a few other quotes that I've been really into this week, and it is the thing that is, tell God your plans and you'll make God laugh. And that life happens while you're making other plans. Which basically says to me is that it's stupid to plan for anything. To plan for the future. To assume that there will be a next year. You know, I said goodbye to a few people this summer and said, I'll see you next year. Well, I probably won't see them next year. And that's fine. But we never want to assume that life is going to continue like it always has. Because there's always somebody else out there who has other plans. And some of those plans are actually to fuck you over. And, you know, We got fucked with the best of them. And again, there'll be more on that, a lot more later. Can't say too much right now, but it's coming. You know I'm going to be there. I'm going to be reporting on it. I have had more subscribers to YouTube in the last week than I have had in a year. And that makes me really happy. So you YouTube guys, come on in. There's going to be some really good shows coming. And my next show is actually going to be for my friend Beth. And I'll tell you why, because Beth has been someone who has been there for me when other people didn't want to be my friend. Beth was like, I love you. I'm your friend, and I'm proud to say it. And I did a story about Beth's son's Bobby, and it was the highest rated show I've ever done. And now it's time to do a little bit of a follow-up for Beth. And that's going to be my next show. And it'll air tomorrow. And I want to remind all of you that life is wonderful. It is wonderful. And there are so many wonderful adventures to be had out there, and experiences to have, and things to see. But at some point, it is time to give up. When you realize that you're never going to get to do the things you want to do, or see the things you want to see. I'm not there yet. I've got so much more to do, so much more to say. I'm still hoping this show is going to end up on MSNBC or CNN someday. Or maybe my own network, the Political Paula Network. I still have hope. I still have dreams. The only difference is now I understand that they probably won't come true. And I'm going to have to put on my big girl pants and learn to live with a lot of disappointment. But remember this, all those moments, they may live in your memories. I disagree with Rutger Hauer a little bit on that. They will live in your memories. Maybe even after death. I don't know. I've never died. I have no idea. But I will tell you that based on the decisions of somebody else, or whatever person controls what happens in our lives, happiness can be gone like tears in the rain. Tears that we cry when we face disappointment and hardship. It kind of washes away the happiness. Our happiness goes away with our tears. And I don't know how to fix that. They don't make a drug for that. But I do know I have all of you. And you have picked me up and given me such support. And that's what's got me through this week. It's what's going to get me through this next week. And I thank you all very much for your support. And keep those show ideas coming because I need them. When I do this show, I feel alive. I feel happy. I feel normal again. So I'm not going to leave you guys. I'll be here until all those memories, like tears in the rain, disappear. Political Paula's out.